Hi everyone, welcome back to the last set of 10 drag and drop PMP questions. If you've been following from the beginning, you've done an amazing job getting this far. And all of these things that we're learning, the definitions, project definitions, the order and the process of our project processes, scenarios and problem solving and how to mitigate issues in our project. Just such a great way to do drag and drop questions. And they've all come, as you've known, from the PMBOK Guide 7th edition, Process Groups Practice Guide and the Agile Practice Guide. So we're getting a really wide range of project definitions and scenarios. And of course, I am making this available at my course on Udemy, which is currently the highest rated Udemy PMP course, which is absolutely fantastic. Do check it out if you can. And let's get into the first question. All right, checking outcomes. A significant number of changes are happening to the project requirements and scope. Okay, so what's the scenario that's leading to these issues? If we've got a lot of changes to the requirements and scope, stakeholders disagree with the project objectives. Let's put that in there for now and we can always change it. Review the issue register for individual stakeholder challenges and use surveys and interviews. That's going to be dissatisfied stakeholders. And we want to look at the issue register because who's raising the most issues and who's raising the most risks to our project or to the project. They're possibly the most dissatisfied stakeholders, so we can start there. It's such a good way to do it. Project team applies critical thinking and interpersonal skills. They are a high-performing team. The project team adapts to changing situations and is resilient in the face of challenges. Oh gosh, that actually could be... both of those are the same. They're very, very similar. Project team apply critical thinking and interpersonal skills. Maybe that's leadership, and the other one is high-performing. I think those two are so similar. I'm just going to have to take a gamble there and see how we go. Okay, that's correct. So, PMBOK Guide 7th edition, page 15 under checking results stakeholder and checking results team. So those are really great things to check just for project scenarios. How did you guys go with that one? Pretty good way for us to start off. All right, Agile and Predictive change methodologies. If a product owner reprioritizes the product backlog and adjusts the product roadmap, that is change in an adaptive way of work or an agile way of work. If a change request is logged as per the process in the change management plan, that's change in a predictive way of work. Project scope changes updated in an adaptive project. Not sure. It seems like this is the only one left. We would update it on an information radiator. Yep, that seems fair enough. And changes communicated to the correct stakeholders in the ways that they prefer. We will check our communications management plan. Let's double check these results. And wonderful stuff. All right. These are pretty good, sort of scenario-based ones, so quite good to go through. And another one, so let's see how we go. Is the project supported by the organization and allowed the resources to proceed? We're going to need the project charter to initiate our project. Is the project on track to realize the intended outcomes in the time frame that we planned them? We're going to need our business case and the benefits management plan. That shows us who tracks the benefits, how we track them, what time frame do we want to realize the project benefits in. So that's pretty good. Does the adaptive project team understand the product requirements? I'm probably going to go with backlog and user stories. So with the backlog and the user stories, that's where we see the product requirements. And sprint reviews is when the stakeholders accept and are satisfied with the project deliverables. So there we go. Let's quickly check. And that has come through as correct. Really well done. Let's see what we've got next. Measuring stakeholders. Asking project team members to rate their agreement with statements such as, I feel my work contributes to the overall outcomes. We're sort of measuring their engagement or how they're feeling about the project. If it's just a question, we might be doing that with a survey. If we can always change that if we need to. High rates of unplanned team turnover. If we have lots of absenteeism or lots of turnover in the team, we have low team morale. They're not engaged, and that can really affect the speed of our project. Measuring the degree to which a stakeholder or customer is willing to recommend a project or a product to others, that's our Net Promoter Score. We ask, how likely would you be to recommend this to a friend on a scale of 1 to 10? And I think 7 to 10 or 8 to 10 are classified as promoters of the item, and 6 to 0 is a detractor, I think. So you can definitely check me on that one. But the idea is that we want more promoters than we have detractors for our product. To track how stakeholders are feeling, using colors, numbers, or emojis, we can use a mood chart. And let's check. There we go. PMBOK Guide 7th edition, under page 103, measures stakeholders. So that's a really, really good thing. Good thing to check in with our project team. Uncertainty. Many interconnected influences that behave in diverse ways reframe or disconnect parts of the system. Okay, I do love VUCA or volatility, uncertainty, complexity, but what is this one? Many influences. This one I think is complexity because it makes things complex, and we decouple it to make it more simple. Exactly. So an event that, if it occurs, has a positive or negative effect on one of the project objectives, that is risk, because we can have threats or opportunities in risk. The probability or the possibility for rapid and unpredictable change, use alternatives and have reserves at the ready. That's volatility. And it's giving us good ways to handle this, by the way. Reframe or disconnect parts of the system, use alternatives and reserves. Now, the last one, a state of being unclear or having difficulty identifying the underlying cause of events. Use prototypes and experiments to get rid of ambiguity. Exactly right. There we go. That, I feel like that was just a short masterclass in dealing with VUCA, which is really cool. So page 119 to 122, uncertainty in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition, if you want to check that out for yourself. I thought that was quite good. All right, estimate ranges. And this is so important when we're first doing an estimate, especially for a customer or for our stakeholders. We want to start by giving a range of -10, no, hang on, what's the biggest one? -25 to +75. And that's our rough order of magnitude. Now, what have we got next? The preliminary estimate, -15% to +50%. As we're getting closer and things are becoming more defined, we can bring in our estimates. The budget estimate, typically what we would put into a budget, we're going to say it's -10 to +25%, and we can often begin our project at that point. Now, the definitive estimate, if we're getting really, really close and we've got more information, -5% to +10%. And the final estimate, when things are actually done and paid for, we have no more wiggle room at all. It is now 0%. It is the final amount. Let's check it out. And there it is. Excellent. That was quite good. I do enjoy those estimates, so that's really good to go through. All right, nearly through this section. Adaptive versus predictive. Predictive, what do we have? We have it's not fixed cost, it's variable cost. Because in Agile, it's Agile where we have fixed cost. We have a fixed team for a fixed amount of time, and they just keep releasing features until the money and the time runs out. In Agile, we're going to have servant leadership. And in Predictive, we're going to have directing leadership, a little bit more of a command and control. In Predictive, we're going to prefer written communication, so system documents and requirements documents. But in Agile, we prefer face-to-face communication. Now, in Predictive, we're going to define the requirements at the beginning, and in Agile, we can progressively elaborate those requirements. Let's double check and see how we went. Excellent work. That has come through. How did you guys go with that one? I do like the agile and predictive questions. And I also like risk. So, that's great. You've got to, whether you like it or not, we always have to deal with risk on our project. So let's get into this one. Ben is numerically analyzing the effect of uncertainty on the project objectives. He is using quantitative analysis. He's quantifying the risk. Michael is defining the degree, the type, and the visibility of risk management activities for the project. Michael is planning risk management with our risk management plan. How are we going to manage risk? Sarah is finding and categorizing individual project risks as well as sources of overall project risk. Sarah is identifying risk. And Isabel is developing options to address project risk exposure. Isabel is planning risk responses. Let's double check and see how we went. And that is correct. Excellent. Page 113 in the Process Groups Practice Guide, if you want to check that out for yourself. Plan risk management. Very, very good to go through. Now, the last two, the critical path. Everyone loves the critical path. And what is the critical path? It's the shortest time we can complete our project in based on the sequence of tasks that we have to do. So if task B is on the critical path and is delayed by 3 days. Okay, so it's on the critical path. We don't want to delay it, but it's delayed by 3 days. What are we going to do? Oh, goodness me. These are... Okay, I might need to read a few of these, but we could use lead time. We could lead it forward, so we could say that. We could use schedule crashing or fast tracking as well. We're not going to use lag time because it's lagging behind. We want to bring it forward. We want to lead it forward. So task D is on the critical path and has 2 days of available float. So it has some wiggle room, and we could actually bring that back. We could lag it behind because it has 2 days of available float. So we can use our lag time there. Task A and B are performed in sequence, but can be done in parallel. You know what this one is. Instead of sequence, now we're doing them at the same time. We are schedule fast tracking. There we go. Now let's see what we've got for these two. The team bring task C forward to start it while task D is still being worked on. That is our lead time. So they're using lead time, or they have lead time available, so they can lead it forward. And that means we're going to use schedule crashing to make sure that that task is not affected on the critical path. And let's have a quick check. And there we go, page 262, the critical path method in the Process Groups Practice Guide. Amazing job, guys. And nearly there, we're up to the last one. Scope and quality. If we ensure that the project outputs are complete, correct, and meet customer expectations. I see what's going on here because these are often confused. So validate scope versus control scope versus control quality. These are often confused in a project. So when we're validating the deliverables, that is validating our scope. The customer or the project sponsor will say, yes, this is what I wanted, and I agree that these are ready to release. Oh no, hang on. What? The formal acceptance of project deliverables, that's validate scope. Now, if we're ensuring that the project outputs are complete and correct, that is controlling quality. There you go. See, it tricked even me. And that's what happens. It's these things are often confused. So we're controlling quality because quality is the amount that it meets customer expectations. So that is the key word there. The process of reviewing and approving changes to the scope is controlling scope, and monitoring the status of project scope and changes to the scope baseline. Oh, goodness me. Changes to deliverables and project documents. Oh, these are all quite tricky. Maybe that one is just perform integrated change control. And if we're monitoring the status of project scope and changes to the scope baseline, that's going to be control scope. Let's have a look. I think we've got this. And we have, thank goodness. That's wonderful to hear. Page 165, perform integrated change control in the Process Groups practice guide. Now, really quickly, there is a bonus question. If you made it this far, you can leave a comment and say that you made it to the bonus question 111, a magical number that will give you good luck for your exam. And it's around the Myers-Briggs. It's just another Myers-Briggs one, just in case you get this on the exam. And it'll give us some nice tips because enjoying social interaction, that's our extrovert. If we're solitary, that's our introvert. If we're using senses to determine reality and the reality of the situation, that's sensing. If we're using our intuition to find patterns, that's intuition or N. If we're logical and impersonal, that's probably thinking. Feeling, if we're using our feelings and emotions, that's F for feeling. Judging with firm, fast decisions is J. And perceiving with flexibility and seeing all of the different options and being adaptable and flexible, that is P. So just a really quick recap, bonus question right at the end, and I have to commend you on such an amazing job getting through all of these drag and drop questions. You've done a truly incredible job, and with this practice and with this study and with improving yourself every day, I truly believe that you can pass the PMP exam. It's definitely something worth doing as projects are delivering value for organizations every single day. We're making change and doing great things. It's really, really worthwhile, and it's worthwhile having a way to understand how to manage those projects. It's so, so important. You're doing the right thing. I can't wait to hear of your success when you do pass the exam and you do get that pay rise with your PMP. But until then, I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.